Show, where empowerment is unlimited. Now let's take a short journey of the history of the Marc Baxter Show. Shows 1 through 4. What I did is outline a systematic foundation to give you success. But in order to obtain success, you need a foundation. You need something to fall back on. See, adversity is going to hit all of us. But if you don't have a foundation, you'll only fall and hit the ground. So you have to have a solid foundation before you obtain success. That's what I gave you from show 1 to 4. What I've outlined from show 5 on is I brought an array of different people here to the Marc Baxter Show to give you different perspectives, because there's no way that one person can appeal to all the masses. So here we are today. We have another great guest for you. Case in point, before we get started, why does people in many different situations that are struggling and someone goes to help them or even asks, how are you? And they'll often say, I'm gonna be all right. I guarantee you I'll be all right. Well, my question is this: since when did just being all right become the goal? Since when did being okay or staying in a mediocre state become acceptable? Why not want to be great? Why not want to be marvelous? Why not want to be fantastic? So here's the $1 million question for you. If you're out there watching this show and you're stuck in a mediocre state, but you know good and well that you can obtain a much higher level, a superior mate, a superior job, superior friends, but you know there's a price to pay. In order to seek that success or that progressive state that you're looking for, we oftentimes have to let go of our mediocre situation. Are you willing to do that? In order to do that, it takes boldness. It takes courage. It takes a deep belief in your abilities. And it takes an abundant amount of faith. All of those attributes are possessed by our guest today. So welcome Georgette Miller to the Marc Baxter Show, where empowerment is unlimited. Georgette, I want to definitely thank you for being a part of the Marc Baxter experience. Thank you for being here on the Marc Baxter Show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll jump right into it.
Okay.
All right, so tell us about yourself, your career.
Well, my career is an interesting one. I was born and raised in Jamaica, and I came to this country at 19 with nothing and to basically no one. I was almost homeless. I came to New York City, and within 8 months of arriving to New York, I had to leave. I needed to find somewhere to go. And someone who knew me casually took me in, and I slept on her couch for a year or 2. And I went to undergrad at John Jay College of Criminal Justice in Manhattan. And I worked full-time and went to school full-time. I graduated from John Jay with a bachelor's in government, magna cum laude, all that. Then I went to Rutgers Camden, and that's where I got my law degree.
Okay.
And I also have an advanced law degree because I have been accused of being a nerd. And I have a master's of law in taxation. And I got that at Temple while I was at a law firm called Wolf, Block, Shore, and Salas Cohen. So
Okay.
I'm an attorney. And when I graduated from law school, I went to Wolf Block, which at the time was one of the largest law firms in the city.
Okay.
And I worked under a mentor who is also now a dear friend by the name of Bernard Lee. His daughter now works for me in my Pennsylvania office, so it's magic. Serendipity. You never know how your life is going to turn out.
Absolutely. So treat people well along the way.
All along the way, because you never know. But I've worked at, some of the largest law firms in the country. I worked at a firm called Greenberg Trauig, which at the time when I was there was the 6th largest law firm in the country.
That's huge.
But, I was working in Manhattan, and like I said, I'm from Jamaica, and growing up in Jamaica, 3 things are important. You gotta go to church.
Mm-hmm.
God first, family, and then your education. So I was raised up in the church.
Okay.
And you know, as my mom would say, you raise a child the way they should grow, so those ways never depart from them.
Mm-hmm.
So 2008 rolled around, the market crashed, and I just felt like a lot of people were going to get hurt, and I need to figure out a way to help them. You know, why gaineth a man that, you know, I was in a comfortable job making comfortable money, or good money as they tell me.
Right.
But what gaineth a man that gains the whole world and loses his soul? So I got up and decided I was going to start my own practice. I was going to start doing my own thing. So I started my practice out of my home in 2008. And I remember a conversation I had with one of the partners in my law firm at the time. He said, Georgette, what are you going to do? I said, well, I'm going to start my own practice. He said, doing what? I said, well, a lot of people are hurting. I'm going to figure out how to help people file bankruptcy. And he paused for a minute. The partner said to me, wait a minute, Georgette, you're leaving your job making good money to go work for people who don't have any money? Have you lost your mind? But when I'm asked all the time, how is it that you did that? I say to them, look, the good Lord never puts a desire in your heart unless he's equipped you with everything you need to succeed.
I agree.
So 4 years later, I have 4 offices in 4 states with lawyers working for me, and I've been just fine. So that has been my journey. You know, I started as a commercial real estate attorney working for large law firms to now having my own practice in 4 states, helping people file bankruptcy and loan modification or loss mitigation options. People come into my office on the precipice of what they consider to be a financial Armageddon,
Mm-hmm.
and I figure out a way to right the ship.
Absolutely.
That's all I do.
Absolutely. Now, what I admire most about what you just presented is that you have a heart to help others. You have such a heart that you're willing to put it in front of your interests, which is very commendable.
I tell people if I was doing this just to make money, this is not what I'd be doing. There's so many other things I could be doing and doing it very well.
Very well.
But a client said this to me early when I started my practice. You know, there are moments when I get really, really frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And I get frustrated because I feel like I have to do this thing, but it's not working, or people don't understand what I'm trying to say, or, you know, my clients just don't get it. And an older woman, I never forgot it, she held me by the hand and she said, Georgette, you have to complete the assignment that was placed on your life. Let it go.
Right.
And after I struggled for a while after that, but I came to a point in my life where I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. So I'm just going to walk on in.
Just walk into your purpose.
I'm
Nice.
just going to keep doing it.
Nice.
Because if I fight it, I'm just frustrating myself and others.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to keep it going. And here I am.
Good job. Well, you're doing a great job.
Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Now, was this always your career choice to be an attorney?
Well, in Jamaica, growing up, my mom always said you can be whatever you want, a lawyer or a doctor.
Okay.
I never liked the sight of blood, so I ended up being an attorney. I just seeing being an attorney as a means to an end.
Okay.
If I was an architect, I would somehow find my way to this place.
Okay.
Because both my parents were business owners. I never saw my dad working for anybody. He worked for himself, started at 13, retired at 40. My mom was a hairdresser. She always had beauty salons in Jamaica. So the concept of working for myself was what I was supposed to do. I know that. Whether or not it would have been a restaurateur, an architect, an engineer, whatever it is, that path would have taken me some way here. I'd probably be an accountant or a financial advisor, but it would have taken me back here,
Right.
where I'm creating something and changing people's lives.
Changing people's lives. That's key. Now, try to remove yourself out of the attorney fold for a second.
That's hard. That's not hard at all.
Okay.
Most days I don't even think of myself as an attorney. I'm just trying to change people's lives.
Good stuff. Well, considering that, tell me a characteristic that is needed as an attorney that mirrors a characteristic in your personal life.
I think what separates a good attorney from a really great attorney is one that is clear and decisive.
Okay. In what realm? What do you mean by that?
What I mean is, you have really, really good attorneys excellent attorneys, some of them are dear friends, that they get so caught up in the law and they get so caught up in the nuances of the law that they can't articulate it to their clients in a real way.
They lose the humanistic element.
Well, it's not even so much the humanistic elements is, I'm one of those people in my personal life, almost to a fault. You know what is on my mind.
Okay.
Because I'm going to very clearly tell you what is on my mind.
Got you.
When I'm advising my clients, there is no doubt with them. I will sit down and I'll take what could be a very complex scenario and just break it down into real terms so that the client is able to get up when they leave my office knowing exactly what's going to come.
Right.
Or knowing exactly, not even exactly, but having a really good sense of the scope of what is to come.
Right.
Because I've broken it down in real terms, in a real way, giving them real advice.
Okay.
And I think that's what separates a good attorney from someone that's very good or even great. It's being able to say to the client, this is what is going to happen. Or these are the trajectories that may happen.
Right.
Don't give them extra, they as needed basis,
right.
As a need to know. You don't have to throw everything at them.
Right.
Give them what they need to know to make the decisions that they have to make to move forward.
Got you. That's clear. That's clear.
Clarity.
Absolutely.
Talk in real terms, in a real way. No legalese and all this foolishness. Just talk to them in a way they can accept it.
Right. And I think that translates across occupations to get the people to understand. Now, I'm going to mention some words to you. Tell me the first thought that comes to mind. Motivation.
Motivation, I say, comes from, the first thing came to my mind is from within.
Good. Determination.
Determination is something, I feel like it's something that's thrown around. Determination, will. It always for me comes back to what's in you. It's got to be in you.
Got you. Anger.
Anger, what comes to mind is control.
Disgust.
Disgust, I see it as an ugly word. And when I think of disgust, I think of poor interaction with someone else. I find inhumanity or lack of empathy disgusting.
Empathy, good word. I really like that word. I use it a lot. And finally, joy.
Joy, I think of baby laughter.
Oh, nice, yeah. Uncensored joy. Nothing tapped into it, just pure joy.
Pure, unadulterated.
Yeah.
And, I always say you can think back to a time in your life when you were younger and you didn't understand fear, but you understood joy.
Okay. All right, now, like when I first met you, you give off a very positive energy, almost like you have it all under control. So let the audience know right here, right now, what does Georgette Miller fear?
I don't have fear. I have uncertainty.
Okay.
Where there are situations where I will be uncertain as to how it will come out, but I don't have fear.
It's a great place.
Fear is never in my equation. I mean, if you have fear, then you don't have faith. If you allow fear to creep in, then you have, I mean, what does that say about your faith in yourself or in your higher power or whatever? Fear for me is, I read it somewhere years ago and I never forgot it, false evidence appearing real. It looks real, but it's really false. So I will have uncertainty, but I won't have fear.
All right. Talk about one of the most trying times in your life in which you had to overcome a major situation.
Oh, Lord. Let me pick one. I mean, coming to this country, of course, was one, and not really knowing how I was going to get ahead, that was trying.
Okay.
But the most trying situation, I must say, was in 1994, both of my brothers, I had two brothers, had being the operative word. And both of my brothers passed away from sickle cell anemia, complications due to sickle cell anemia. And when my first brother died in 1994, that for me was one of the most trying and also one of the most valued, learned life experience.
Right.
When my brother died, he was 18, I was 20. And it was the first time I came face to face with my own immortality. In a real way,
right.
In a real, tangible way. I was standing by the graveside of my brother, watching them lower the casket into the ground. He was 18, I was 20. And your childhood is wrapped up in your siblings. Like, I can't look back at my childhood and not remember my brothers, but they're not here.
Right.
And it became clear to me in a real way that I will die. You know, I will close my eyes for the last time and that would be it. And what will my life mean when that happens? And it took me, I remember I was still in undergrad and I had to work through that. And I guess as sad as it was the most liberating and the most gifting, because I knew then, like I didn't know before, that we're here for a period of time and you make use of that time.
Right.
You don't live your life with regrets. If you have something to do, do it and just move on.
Right.
I can go back to that period as I sit here and feel those feelings, because it was life, as hard as it was to deal with the fact that my brother was no longer here.
Right.
It was a life-altering experience that made me the person who I am today.
Wow, that's really neat. I mean, that's a great perspective to grasp from such a deep experience.
Oh, it was, I mean, I take them with me every day, but I know they are the living embodiment of the fact, well, you know, they were a living testament of the fact that life is short.
Right.
You're here for a short time. Make your life useful.
Right.
Or what's the point?
What's the point?
What's the point of regretting? You woke up. That means you got another shot.
It means you have another shot. Absolutely. I agree with you. I don't believe in regrets, but to hear it from you and to feel your passion, it means a lot. It's priceless. Some say that leaders are born.
Mm-hmm.
Others say leaders are made. Now, would you consider yourself to be a leader, and why?
I don't consider myself to be a leader because, and this isn't false humility, but there is so much I want to do and so much I want to get to. So I'm never comfortable in my skin.
Okay.
So I'm not really the best person. I can only tell you based on what my employees say. And I engender loyalty and I engender loyalty and a real connection with my employees because I care.
Right.
And there's nothing they do that I wouldn't do myself.
Okay.
There is no task in this firm that I either have not done or don't know how to do.
Okay.
And I work all the time. No, you don't understand. I work all the time. So my employees never feel like, okay, here I am working and my boss isn't around.
Right.
I work all the time to the point where they will block out my calendar and say, you won't work.
Okay.
And then I'm sitting around going, what am I going to do?
Right.
So I engender, I think, my form of leadership, and I think everybody has a style. My form of leadership is leading by example.
Good.
There ain't nothing they would do or have to do that I wouldn't do myself. There's nothing I will ask of them that I wouldn't do myself. Period.
Right. Yeah. And that's commendable from an employee standpoint, because ultimately, as a boss or the person that's at the top, you must first be an example of what you want others to display. Mm-hmm. So I think you just nailed it in a nutshell. The next few questions I want you to answer, true or false. Mm-hmm. All right, the first one. I don't care about my career. I just care about making a lot of money.
Oh, false.
Okay. Next one. People have the ability to mold and shape their own lives.
Absolutely true.
Okay. Moving forward. What does success mean to you?
Success means to me, when I close my eyes for the last time, I did everything I was supposed to do.
How do you know what you're supposed to do?
You just go with that thing, that whisper inside you. We all have it. Some of us choose not to listen to it,
right,
but it's there. If you listen to it, which I've spent many years trying to just sit and listen to it. If I listen to it, then I walk out on faith and I do what it is I'm supposed to do. I want to be, when my eyes are closed and they're sitting at my going home or whatever, playing Mahalia Jackson and Aretha Franklin's Amazing Grace.
Selected, right?
Already, I've had a will since I was 20, so
that's nice. Wow.
I'm very clear. I may not be sure the suit you're wearing is black, but I'm sure of one thing: I will die.
Right, right.
So at that ceremony, they must use the old phrase, "She's all used up."
Right.
I helped everybody I could have helped. I reached out. I didn't just come into this universe and took. I gave. All these things are important to me. Like, I tell my employees, y'all better get it in, because I'm 40 now. And when I get to 50, I'm done with this.
Right.
Y'all need to figure out what y'all going to be doing in 10 years, because Georgette won't be here. I want, before I die, to take over a school and mold a school in my own image, because I feel like kids don't understand the opportunity of education, or at least kids that look like me and the kids that I'm around. They don't get it.
Right.
And for me, growing up, there was nothing more important than school, because school was your way out. And then I don't feel like the kids today are being taught the life skills, the sense of self-empowerment. I mean, when I was going to high school in Jamaica, there was a class about self-respect. A class about slavery from I was 10 till I was about 15, and then they tested us. We had to take a test 2 days long on it. There's a lot that I feel like is missing. Right. And before I die, would love to take over a school and see what I could do for kids, preferably kids who are not privileged. I don't have my own kids, and I don't have children by choice. Mm-hmm. It's something I chose to do. Right. But before I die, I would love to have the opportunity to see what I could do with some kids. So there's so much I want to do, and it's all about making sure that I serve.
Well, there's no doubt, coming from this way, I'm pretty sure one day you'll have a school.
I know. I mean, I've already put it out into the universe. And for me, when I say I'm going to do something, it's already done in my mind.
Right.
It's just for me now to go through the minutiae of getting that done.
Absolutely.
But in my mind, if I say I'm going to do something, it's done.
It's done.
I just now need to make the steps to catch up.
Absolutely. How important is family?
Family is very important, but family is not just blood.
Give me another example of how you can relate to family other than blood.
My best friend in the whole world is a female by the name of Rosemary Mercury. We went to law school together. She now lives in Canada.
Okay.
We talk to each other at least once a day. We're selfish, as much as you hear me talk the way I am, we're selfish human beings. You know, if I have a choice between myself and anything else, I'll always choose me.
As you should.
Period.
Yeah.
There is no ifs, ands, and buts about that one. If something was wrong with Rosemary, or I had to put her needs above my own, I would actually pause and think about it. And there's very few, she's not blood, but there's very few people. I mean, I have a younger sister. If she needed something, I would pause and think about it. My mom, if she needed something, I would pause and think about it. I have other friends, I would pause and think about it. That's family.
Nice.
That has nothing to do with blood. When I started my practice, there was a point where I ran out of cash for my employees, and I couldn't get a loan from a bank. Rosemary Mercury, who sits in Canada, wired into my operating account enough funds for at least 2 to 3 months so I could keep going.
Oh, she's family. She's family.
You see what I'm saying? And it wasn't even a situation where I said, when I called her up, because I don't ask for help.
Mm-hmm.
So when I called her up and I said, Rose, this is the situation, she got mad. She didn't get mad because I was asking. She was mad because I waited so long to ask. That's family.
That's family. That's great. Now let me ask you this. Who do you admire other than family members? Give me someone that you're...
I can tell you, I was thinking about that. That's a good question. I actually was thinking about this on my way to court today. And who would be the people that I would love to meet? First one has always been a childhood hero of mine, and it's Margaret Thatcher. I grew up in Jamaica where Thatcher was prime minister in England, and I just thought she was the most awesome thing ever. But she has Parkinson's now, so even if I met her, she wouldn't be of her right mind, and that's really sad. I mean, other than my mother, it would be, of course, Oprah Winfrey. Which little black girl don't love Oprah?
Right.
Christine Lagarde, Chancellor Angela Merkel,
Okay.
Chancellor of Germany, and Hillary Clinton. All really strong women in their own way. And you have some that have really quiet strength and some that are bombastic.
Right.
But if I had my choice of people to meet or I would really love to meet, it would be those.
That's nice. I would love to meet those people as well. Good choices. All right. Do you hate to lose or do you love to win?
Do I hate to lose or do... I never see losing as losing.
Right.
That's a problem.
Right. Absolutely. So I have to reword that.
Because for me, if I set out for a goal and I don't quite hit it the way I thought I would, I'll keep going. It just means it's going to take me longer or I got to come up with another strategy. But if it's something that I want, I'm not going to stop until I get it.
Okay. All right.
Failure for me is never an option.
It's not an option.
It's just not an option, not in the cards.
And you know my quote from the Marc Baxter Show? Failure is a permitted response.
Yeah, you choose to fail.
You choose to fail.
Because it's, I mean, if it don't quite end up the way you thought it would, doesn't mean you failed.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep going at it, but you may want to take it from a different angle.
Absolutely, make some adjustments. Finally, last question, in which you answered already with the Mahalia Jackson music and so forth and so on. When it's all said and done for Georgette Miller, you know, how do you want to be remembered?
All used up.
All used
She
up.
came, she did the best she could, she gave, she served, and she's all used up. There ain't nothing left.
All used up. Georgette, you've been a phenomenal interview. Continue to be a trailblazer. Continue to be a trendsetter. and continued success to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Continued success to you too.
Thanks so much. Hello again, and we want to thank Georgette Miller for a superb interview. It was so enlightening, and the energy through the room was amazing. I wish you could have felt it. In closing, I want to leave you with some thoughts. One, what are you willing to sacrifice to obtain a high level of success? To reach your goals, always know you have to first get uncomfortable in order to get comfortable. It's almost like having a refrigerator full of food, but yet you say, I want to go grocery shopping. Well, you can go and buy up the store, but where are you going to put the food after you come back home? See, you must first get rid of some of the old spoiled food that's already in the refrigerator. See, a lot of us say that we want to achieve a level of success, but we're not willing to go through the sacrifices necessary to make room for what's to come. How can you be successful if you can't make a sacrifice to stay in the house for some months in order to read and study or achieve a higher degree or to get an advancement at your job? How do you really want to progress in your life? How many of you recently watched the 30-30 episode called Broke? Over 80% of athletes, after they're done playing sports, go broke within like 5 years. It was sad, but it was also enlightening watching it at the same time. There's 3 common themes that I took from watching it and seeing all of the athletes and hearing their testimonies. One was that athletes showed an inability to make crucial adjustments when needed. Another one was poor planning. And finally, a high level of pride. Mix all those together and you get broke, like most of the athletes after they're finished playing. Let me give you a true story about myself. I'm always trying to get better and do better. See, I'm a student of life. I'm as competitive as they come. And my friends tell me this. My friends say they've never met anyone as competitive. Not jealous or envious, just competitive. And most times I compete with myself. No one else is worthy of me competing with because I can't control their outcome. I only can control my outcome. Well, 17 years ago, I used to play video games. And I just didn't play. I want to win. I want to win in everything that I do. But I came to a climax in my life. I was putting 4, 5, 6 hours into playing a video game each day, and it gave me nothing back. So I eventually gave up video games. I haven't played in 17 years because I knew the impact that it was having on my life and me achieving the level of success that I needed to achieve. So it's time to clean out your refrigerators, people. It's time to make some hard decisions. It's time to put your money where your mouth is. See, what the Marc Baxter Show will continue to do is eliminate all room for excuses because you deserve better. Why are you settling for mediocrity when you can have superiority? Stay tuned. There's more great things to come right here on the Marc Baxter Show, where empowerment is unlimited.